Well, you got obviously got one tight end out of this group. Talking to him, he said you really cultivated that relationship over a lot of time. What it mean to you to be able to get him here?
Well, we think very highly of Matt, and we identified him. Coach Huff did a great job identifying him, and he had some very big offers. Vanderbilt, and Northwestern, Washington, Oregon State. So anytime somebody's got those kind of offers, the only way you're going to get in there and win it is you're going to have a relationship, not only with him, with the coach, which Coach Huff did, and then his parents, Thomas and Maria. And so we did a great job of just building a relationship. Not just me. It's never just one person recruiting. It was the whole staff. It was Mike, it was Junior, it was Harse, it was Scott, it was Red, it was all of us. Even the defense crossing over and just developing relationships with the players and specifically Matt, and making sure that he knew that we cared about him. And he came up on an unofficial visit this summer, and we knew we had enough connections there that we made an impact. And even though he committed to another school this summer, we knew if we stuck with it, at the end we were going to be able to pull it out, and we did that. And, a lot of us have experience doing that. We've done that sort of thing before, and so we just kept working our magic, and it happened.
How do you approach that? He said, I appreciate it. He didn't really push. He just kind of let time take its toll.
Well, like I said, it's all about relationships. It's about making sure everybody understands you're comfortable with each other and getting to know each other without being forceful. Because at the end of the day, these are 17, 18-year-old kids making life-changing decisions. For me, it's my job to sell Boise State. For them, it's a decision that impacts their whole life. And so you have to have a plan, a specific plan about what you're presenting to the kids, and then you got to be very intentional about how you do it. And like I said, we've been through this. I've been at a non-Power 5 for a few years now, and I've been at Power 5, and I know how both of them work. I've also been a high school coach, so I've seen all the different facets, and so you just come up with a game plan and you work it, and we knew how to work it. We knew what we knew what Boise State was all about, and at the end of the day, we knew Matt Pistone was going to be a better fit at Boise State than anywhere else, and so we believed in it, and we kept going with it.
What was it about him that made you so convinced that you wanted him?
Wow, there's all kinds of things. First off, he plays for a winning football team. We have a culture here of winning, and we're not going to apologize for that. And so anytime that a kid's been a part of two state championships, an undefeated season, he understands what it takes to win. And so that was one thing that's very attractive. Two, you watch his film. He's a big, large human being who mashes people on the line of scrimmage, but also playing defense. He can get off the ball and rush the passer until you see him explode out of his hips, and then he splits out and catches the ball. He's a mismatch nightmare, and so all those things, athletically and then the culture he was in made him a great fit. But then once we got to know him, just talking to him on the phone, very respectful. Like I said, he's got great parents, Thomas and Maria, older sister and an older brother, and it was just the right fit for us.
Was the plan to take one tight end all along?
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually in a really good position tight end depth-wise. We had 5 guys that really played this past year. Connor graduated, and so there was a spot available, and we weren't just going to take anybody. It had to be the right player at the right time, and Matt was that guy. And really, I think we only offered 2 kids the entire process, and he was my first offer as a tight end, or I shouldn't say our first offer as a staff, and we got it.
Do you have
that's a great question. We never promise playing time with anybody, but one of our core values is competition. When we say in our room, practice determines everything. So nothing's promised. I tell those guys all the time, I don't play favorites. I play whoever my daughters tell me to play. And what that means is whoever's going to keep me employed and help us win football games is who's going to play. And so I really don't know until everybody gets here. Last year starting fall camp, Jake Rowe was 4th string, ended up being a starter. So practice determines who's going to play, and we'll figure all that once he gets on campus.
Do you have a backup plan, or was he kind of the plan at that point at tight end?
Matt was definitely the plan, but you always have backup plans in this business.
So you probably would have taken a tight end even if you hadn't.
He would have had to been the right one. Okay. But yeah, there were phone calls late from people who wanted to be a part of our program that that were really good players committed to big schools that they weren't the right fit, and we didn't need.
Who else were you heavily involved recruiting? Berger, I think, was one of your area guys.
Yeah, here's the deal on offense. My areas are Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, but we all crossbreed and cross-recruit and involved in everybody's process. But was involved in Garrett Larson, involved in Drew Berger's recruiting. I'm very excited about those guys. But we kind of identify the guys in our area, and then we pass them along to the position coach, and then we both try to do a good job. Like I said, it's never just about you recruiting the kid. It's about developing relationships with the influencers in the decision. And so the area coach is really involved in identifying who's in the school, the head coach, is it the principal, is it the counselor, whoever, and then the position coach is involved with the kid, and of course the area coach is involved with the kid also, and then everybody develops a relationship with the parents or the whoever else you go from there. But it's never one person, and it's really there's really no way to divide it up. Oh, you had this kid or you had this kid. It's everybody on the staff, and at the end of the day, everybody wins football games. So it's the same thing in recruiting.
You and Andy went snowboarding with Drew, is that right?
Yeah, you're always trying to find different ways to reinvent yourself and create an edge and advantage in recruiting. And last year was that 1201 visits, things that nobody had done, and this year, it was actually Coach Avalos' idea that we should do something different with Drew, and it happened to be Martin Luther King Day, and he wasn't in school, and there's a really nice ski mountain Schweitzer up at Sandpoint, and so yeah, we went out there and showed my moves off and had a great time.
Is that something you've done? I mean, are you a snowboarder or?
I'm a skier, and
okay.
I've been a very active skier for a long time, and then when I went to Auburn to coach, just didn't have time, didn't have all the different stuff, and actually last spring break was the first time Coach Sanford and I went and skied down at the Salt Lake City, whatever the place is down there. We skied for a couple days, so that was the first time I'd done it in 4 years, and then this past time, so we had a great time.
So you skied? They snowboarded?
Yeah, he snowboarded. Yeah, oh yeah, Andy snowboarded, him and Drew snowboard. And I skied, and John Berger was there, and Jack was there too, and we skied, and then Coach Avalos, he's not as young as he once was. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
How was your road trip with Huff and Sanford, other than the fact that they beat you out of a bed?
That's a bad deal. Now, I saw an article the other day about Boise State recruiting budget and all that stuff, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the Boise Broncos are very proud of how much money we saved, staying 3 to a room. And, here's the deal. Coach Sanford said, "Oh, you can have this room." I was like, "Or you can have the bed." And I said, "Let's switch." And he went and lay down in bed and fell asleep. So I don't know what that was all about. They pulled rank on me. Offensive coordinator, run game coordinator, and the old tight ends coach got the couch. But it was a great deal. We're great friends. And that's what this deal's all about. We say family, and we lived it. Those guys stink though. They smell. I know that.
I got one more question.